I'm Lisa Berry.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
I'm Me Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Lydia Camille Dixon.
I'm Masara Dates Wodam.
My name is Linda Preston, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and I'm here with the talented and beautiful Ariel Florian. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Well, thank you, Keith.
Now, the honor's all mine. Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities, to never give up and to prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It is to prove to them you can break the labels. That labels, as I said, don't dictate who you are and who you're going to be and how it's going to describe your life. I'm still working on the end part. So easily I would say never give up, prove people wrong, but it's a work in progress, like my story of my life. But with that being said, a half hour, 37 minutes of your time. Say anything you want. You can talk about anything you want. It's your time. And starting off, I'm going to ask you some easy questions, then we can go to the hard-hitting ones. And starting off, who influenced you to become an actress, and how many years have you been an actress?
So, I mean, there were a gamut of different people who influenced me. My parents, obviously, and I didn't actually go to acting school ever, so I can't say my teachers, but I think myself. And funny enough, I was just looking at some old videos that I have of my parents taking of me, and I'm acting as a kid, not even knowing it. So I guess just myself.
Oh, hey, if you're very interested in, someone was trying to find the words, so I just had a brain fart. If you're very passionate and interested in something, you should be passionate about doing what you love. It's not about doing something half-assed. It's not like saying, I can try it. If it doesn't work out, I tried, but whatever. But if you have a heart for it, you should do 100%. You should never be like, 50-50, because you're always setting yourself up for failure.
Yes.
But with that being said, I'm going to ask you the other question is, have you worked with people with special needs, and what caught your interest in being an actress? Okay, but still was that one. Don't mind me. When I don't do my interviews, I kind of build up a hesitation. So the first question is, have you worked with people with special needs, and what caught your interest in being an actress?
So as for the first question, yeah, I've worked with mostly children with special needs. I was a counselor one summer. I find that they're very sensitive, and I think that's kind of consoling, because I myself am very sensitive, and sometimes they don't really have a filter, and I find that's kind of beautiful, because so many times these days people filter everything you say, and they're not honest, and it's a shame, because honesty is very beautiful sometimes. So yeah.
Hey, I guess I'm a perfect candidate for that, because I don't think before I speak. For me, I like to walk to the beat of my own drum. I do things my way. If it's easier, I pursue that. I like making things comfortable for me. I'll give you an example. If someone says, go read this book or script, I would ask you, can you sit down with me and go over it? Of course, you would do what you have to do first, and if you have time, you can help me sit down and go over it. Mm-hmm. And I learned, at a 5th grade level, I was labeled handicapped, and to be disturbed, retarded. I never went to college. I was told I was never going to amount to anything, and I was going to be a burden. And how I learned, it's for an example, it's like, oh, here's a script, go read it, don't bother me. For me, I would have to sit down and read a couple pages, then go back. I'm more of a hands-on hands-on person than actually saying, here's a book, go figure it out yourself type of person.
Okay.
And the other thing I was going to ask you is, what were some of your favorite films that you were an extra in, and do you have any upcoming projects?
Well, I haven't been in too many films, let alone an extra in many films. I really just started acting. I've been doing, writing and songwriting as well as screenplay writing for a while. Nothing has been out or anything, but if you want to know what my favorite genre, or what I would love to be an actress in, is period dramas. So movies that exemplify the any time in history, the 1940s or even the 1800s, way back in history. That I love that type of period drama acting. So it'd be my dream to play a Jane Austen character. So yeah.
What about you? Trying to debate. Well, my next question is, I have a lot of questions. So, you're based in New York. Have you ever thought about being on Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage? Have you ever thought about trying out for those roles?
I'm not familiar with those roles. Can you tell me a little bit more about who Jessica Jones is?
I'm not really a fan of Jessica Jones. Not saying I'm not a fan of it. I just hard to get into it. I don't know what it's about. But Luke Cage is basically films in Red Hook, Daredevil. It's filmed in Hell's Kitchen. It's basically superheroes.
Okay. Well, yeah. Hell's Kitchen is actually pretty familiar to me because my father is an artist and he has a studio in Hell's Kitchen. So, but I'm not too familiar with those kind of movies, I guess.
So you would say what would you say you're more into, and not in the whole superhero genre? So you're more into the whole drama?
I'm into drama. I'm very, very much into dramas that have been adapted from books. So, classics, so like Anna Karenina or To Kill a Mockingbird, and, whatever great classics, them turning it into a movie, because I love reading, and if they can adapt that into a film, that's something I would love to do. Many times they don't portray the book as great as the author intended, I believe. So it's a shame, but I like, reenacting books. So if that helps.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I would love to get you more upbeat and talkative, so I'm going to ask you this one. What were some of your favorite books that you ever read that you want to portray in? I know you mentioned Kill a Mockingbird as one of them, but what about A Tale of Two Cities?
I never read that one. It is a classic, and I should. I have a whole list of books I need to read. I like, what book would I want to portray? I would love to be Lizzie in Pride and Prejudice. Obviously, a lot of girls' dream. What else? I would like to be, or just, help in the making of The Great Gatsby. They did do one, I think, back in 2010 or something, or even more recent, of The Great Gatsby. I didn't find it to be so great. They had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. He played the character very well. What was the character's name? The character just slipped my mind, but Leonardo DiCaprio did a great job. But the movie on a whole, The Great Gatsby, I don't think it was in my opinion, I don't think it was done that well. A Room with a View by I just read it. A Room with a View.
I have that effect on people.
Forrester. E.M. Forrester. That was a great one. The movie was great too. So those books I would like to. I don't know.
Now, what were some of the books that you read and they turned into movies, and you're like, oh my god, why did they turn this into a movie? Hands down for me would be, I almost said Anne Frank. I was going to say, shit, what is that movie? You probably know, she's deaf, blind.
Helen Keller.
Yeah, that movie bothered the hell out of me. I wanted to run out of class at the time to lots of it. I know, I'm very sensitive. And Mice and Men. I actually saw it on TV a while ago.
And it was horrible.
No, Mice and Men, it was funny. I would prefer to watch Mice and Men over, Helen Keller.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I guess so, yeah. The Great Gatsby, I think they massacred it. It was horrible.
What about the next question I was going to ask you is, are you more of a hardcore reader? Like, I see books behind you. Do you, read, for an example, 100 books a day? Or would you actually prefer to just sit down and listen to an audiobook?
So the thing about audiobooks, I took to them a little bit in past years. I liked, the thrill of just having someone else read it to you. But I think there's a pleasure in actually turning the pages and actually reading it at your own pace and with your own mind. Because with someone else reading it, they have their own pace. And many times I felt they were going too slow in different chapters, and I would just not keep up. So I like just sitting down with a good book. I can go through a good book, in a week, slowly on the subway. I have a long commute to work, so I find reading is quite enjoyable.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, do you like poetry? And also, you mentioned your commute in the city. Where are you based in the city, if you don't mind me for asking?
Sure. So I work on Wall Street. It's a job that you wouldn't say suits me so well at this stage, because I am a creative type. I write and sing and dance, and Wall Street is not so much that. But, as they say, you got to put food on the table. So, I work for a finance company. And to answer the first question second, what was the first question?
Do you like books? Do you like reading poetry?
Poetry, sure. I do. I very much do so. And I love Virginia Woolf. I like her poetry is great. Who else? Emily Dickinson, Thoreau. A bunch of others. But I also like to write poetry. I mean, I'm obviously an amateur, but I love poetry. Yeah, and my father is a poet, so that he always pushed me.
Oh, nice. See, that's what I'm talking about. If you have a passion for something, you should always pursue that. It's kind of funny you mentioned you're in Wall Street. Did the movie Wall Street influence you to become a Wall Street person, or how did that come about?
You mean the movie Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes, I was close.
Yeah, no, you were close. You were good. Yeah, I actually. The funny thing is, no, I got a job because I knew someone who owned a company, and I was quite desperate at the time, so he gave me a job. And then I think 3 months into working on Wall Street, I actually saw half of the movie Wolf of Wall Street. I didn't even see the whole movie because it was so disturbing. I couldn't finish it. It did not influence me. I honestly did not want to work on Wall Street. It's just tough times call for tough measures, and I got the job because I needed it. But
no, I understand. It's always good to have a plan B.
Sure, and a plan C and D.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
For an example, for me, my plan A is my talk show. This is what I have a passion for. And of course, hopefully I get a studio and I get more comfortable with it and I get better and better. But unfortunately, when you're not making money, you have to suck up, plan B, and that's like, okay, you have to get a job, or plan C, you have to get 2 jobs, and you have to do things to make ends meet. But with that being said, don't mind me. When I don't do my interviews, I kind of feel up a hesitation. Part of disability. No one's perfect, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
So the next question I was going to ask you is, working in Wall Street, have you ever pulled any pranks on people, number one? And do you have any funny stories you'd like to share?
Wow. Well, yeah, I wish I could remember. Let's see. Well, one day when work was all finished, I work with this filmmaker, young kid. He also, has a corporate job and has, to make ends meet. And we do pranks in the city. We go around asking people, uncomfortable questions and, seeing their response on camera. So one day there was this huge box that came with like a TV or something. And, when those boxes come, they have those little like white styrofoam, like, fluffy things. So and the box was big enough for me to get into. So I got into the box and I like jumped out. And we just we took people's reactions, But yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was. Oh, well, every day I sort of I ring the buzzer. Basically, I'm HR at my position, and a couple times in a day, we require everyone to stand up and sort of get the juices flowing because we're a call center. So I ring a buzzer 3 times in the day, and it's very loud and like abrupt. So that always gets people like shocked. No matter how many times I do it, they always forget and they always get shocked when I do it. So I guess that's funny.
Actually, it's kind of funny to mention those because 2 things come to mind. I remember something similar where the guy, your rock comes in and you pop out of the box. And I remember it was a guy who did it, and unfortunately for him, he got punched in the face because when he jumped out at the person, he turned around and reflexed.
Oh no!
But I remember something similar to what you're doing. And the buzzer was, I think this documentary, or this a commercial, this woman, you might have know what I'm talking about. Oh, the woman was sitting there in the waiting room, and randomly a bell will go off, and everyone stands up, then they sit back down, and the bell goes off, they stand up and sit back down, and finally she joins in, and when it's just her and just the other person, like say you were doing this all the time, right? And then I walked in, bell goes off, you get up, and I was like, I'm looking at you like, why are you getting up? Then I join in, it's like, why are you doing it? Oh no, why are you doing it? So it's pretty much like a monkey see, monkey do. It's one of those things. If I find the video, I'll definitely send it to you.
Oh sure, yeah.
But it's one of those things though, where it's kind of like, I don't know, when it's out of the ordinary, it's kind of good to follow everyone else because you don't want to be left out.
Sure.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, who were some of your favorite actors of all time that you want to work with? And have you ever met any famous people?
Okay, so I'm gonna first answer with I want to say a singer I want to work with. They are a sister duo. They are a sister brother duo, and their name is Angus and Julia Stone. And I am obsessed with Angus Stone. I think he's a great, like a prolific songwriter, and his voice is just so sweet. I would love to work with him. And his sister. So Angus Stone. And as for the movie actors, I would love to work with Josh Hartnett. He did Pearl Harbor. Daniel Day-Lewis is a great actor. He's very humble and just very real in terms of acting. Female actresses, I would have loved to work with Grace Kelly. I thought she was, just an example of what, true grace can be. And have I met any actors? I actually met the comedian on Saturday Night Live. I forgot his name, but he has like really funny looking eyes. I don't remember his name, but I saw him in this Cinnabon, this bakery, and I was like, that's him. So I asked my boyfriend at the time. I took a picture with my boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend is very funny, very funny guy. So I told him to take a picture together. So that's as far as famous goes.
For me, have I ever? Let's see. Autographs, sign-ins do not count. If you say, "Oh, I met this famous person," it's like, okay, autographs do not count because everyone. It's basically one of those scenarios. If you're going to an autograph sign-in, and
Right.
everyone's going, and everyone says, "Oh, guess who I met?" It's like, "Oh, did you go to the autograph sign-in?" It's like, okay. But if you happen to randomly bump into them at a bar, you know, you see, there's my sister met this guy. It's like, "Are you in good hands?" And it's like he's from Rescue. Can't think of his name, but if you happen to bump into someone that way,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, that's great. For me, I kind of met celebrities, you know, or maybe they could have been their stunt doubles. I was in my store. I won't say on the air where I work, but I can tell you off the air. This guy was talking to me, and I swear to God, like I felt like I was being pranked because he sounded like Morgan Freeman, and I'm
Wow.
waiting for him. I'm just like, I'm being pranked here because you really sound like Morgan Freeman. Is there a camera? And as he was talking to me, he was sounding more and more like Morgan Freeman. It's like, that just sounds like a bad joke. But, you know, it could have been a stunt double. Let's see, Wanda Sykes. I was at Woodbury Commons. I was on a stand. And this is when I was working over at North Face. And at the time, I was standing behind her as she was getting annoyed at the hot dog person. And it's like, you're short. You have the same hairstyle. You kind of have the same features as her. Are you? And I was binding my lip. I was going to ask her, "Are you Wanda Sykes?" But I didn't want her to be like, "You're not saying that because I'm black."
Oh.
I didn't want to impose on her like that. But she walked like her, sounded like her, same exact features, and it's kind of like, what are the chances, you know, of actually running into a celebrity? You know, for my other one, when I worked over at Target, unfortunately, I wasn't there for this day. But trying to think of it, I can't snap my fingers. The woman with the short blonde hair, you know, when you sit in her audience, she's always giving away stuff.
Ellen DeGeneres?
Yes, she was at Target, and we're at Starbucks, and I'm like, where was I on that day?
Yeah.
But the next thing I was going to ask you is, have you ever worked in retail? And do you have any funny stories or pranks you pulled on people?
On retail. I worked in a ice cream shop that was like, you know, fancy ice cream that you can call it. It was sherbet. Did we pull any pranks? No, we didn't pull any pranks, but many times the ice cream, the pops, they were in pops, they would melt, and it was just embarrassing to hand people like melted ice pops, especially if each pop cost about $4. So,
right.
But that was just funny. No.
I got some funny stories if you like to hear them.
Okay.
You know, it's September, and I got annoyed at this because if you giving someone money and you expect to buy it, long story short, let's see, it was 2015, and it was September, and we were, I think that's when the 8th Star Wars movie came out. So we're doing this whole big thing about Star Wars, and this one woman came up with a nightlight. He's like, "Oh, my kid likes Yoda, and how much is it?" It's like $15. He's like, "Forget it." So I have to go, "Sweep in the dark? He will." It's funny, but anyway. Let's see, funny pranks that I pulled on someone. I had blonde moments where I went into an Armani store, and I saw a nice watch. You know, I gave it to my brother. I don't know whatever happened to it. Probably long gone. And So I was looking at it. It's this nice thick watch. And I was like, how much? It's at $6.99. Okay, perfect. I didn't even bat an eye. Perfect. I want it. And it's like, okay, $6.99, blah, blah, blah. So it'll be $7.02. Okay, here's $10. And I was like, yeah, you know, this is $700. No, you said $6.99. Yeah, $700. I'm like, well, I'm glad they think I'm an idiot.
And you bought it.
No, I didn't want to pay $700.
Right.
But later on, he said, yes, I got it. But at the time, I was embarrassed. It's like, oh, forget.
So you ended up buying it.
So when I was walking out, the guy's like, you believe this guy? He thought his watch was $7.
Wow, yeah.
But before we take a quick commercial break, actually, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you one more subject. And with the remaining time, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Okay.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Papick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Orange Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Goldar.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew and what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm gonna come kick your ass.
Hey, wait. Let me do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the KeithAndrewNetWork. This is 458. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Ariel. And with the last 12 minutes left of the show, I'm going to pass it over to you. But before I do, the last question I was going to ask you, like I ask everyone, is how do you feel about social media? Social media, can it make you or break you? And with everything you accomplish in your career, how do you feel about it? And do you think it dictates your life?
So I'm not, can you hear me fine? Okay, so I'm sort of the advocate for social media, but sort of not, more so as a writer, because I love, these days I like to write more than anything else. I do find that it distracts me, although it does help me promote my writing, but I find that it's almost like a fake medium to promote yourself, because people don't know you, you know, they're reading your scripts or your poems, but they don't know the story behind it. And I find that when you actually go to events and, you know, or just have these wonderful, you know, screen sharings and video chats, you actually get to know the person more. But the truth is, I found you through social media. So I think, in my opinion, perhaps the best way we can resolve, you know, the social media crisis, which it is to sort of limit the use of it, sort of allow people to find each other via social media, but then to just break down the time spent on it and sort of just be social without the media, just being social in a park setting, reading your work outside, and so forth.
No, I agree with you. You know, for an example, there's this old joke. You know, why do people sit around coffee houses, or why do they sit around coffee bars? And they want to look fancy. Hey, what are you doing? I'm working on the script. What are you doing? But it's kind of this. I know, bad joke. But it's kind of like, in a way, in the future too. You know, what pisses me off is they are eliminating jobs. And you're like, if you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to ShopRite, you go to all these other different places. And I'm not really sure about the ShopRite, but Stop and Shop and Target and Walmart, they have this self-checkout, and that's fine. You walk in, you want to buy a book, and now, bing, bang, boom. But at the same time, you know, with Amazon, you're eliminating real jobs. And how that relates to social media is that everything is online based. You want to buy a shirt, you want to buy your scarf, that's fine. You don't even have to leave the luxury of your own house or get off your ass to do anything, because everything's at your fingertips. Sorry, set my mind. Fingertips. Brain fart. Anyway, it's kind of it's like anyway. Let's mark it as a brain fart. Everything's at your fingertips, and then when you go and meet someone in a reality-based settings, like a restaurant or an event, you're kind of like, huh? you forget how to be human. Mm-hmm. So I really hope things go back to the way they were. So, like you were saying, there should be like a meetup event where they have networking events. Hell, if you're talking to someone like what we're doing right now, you're interacting, you're being human, you're not being robotic.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, if everything is going to be online based, you kind of lose a part of yourself, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there any new projects you want to talk about? Anything you want to promote? You can ask me anything you want, gloves off. You can ask me about my disability, about my talk show. This is your time, after all.
I mean, I want to ask, when did you start this show, and what instigated you to decide to put on a talk show?
All right. Let's see. There's about like 6 different variations of the story. I use my dad for an inspiration. I use my brother for an inspiration. Let's see. I got tired of using my learning disability as a crutch, and that's the biggest one. And also, it's funny enough, I actually came up with you gotta laugh at me. I came up with on a birthday wish. Let me explain what I mean by a birthday wish. It's when you turn 21, people say, "Yo, you live only once, and you turn 21 only once. You live on." Well, you rephrase that. I can't even speak, so maybe I'm in stroke. So, you turn 21 once in a lifetime. You should do something special. And I'm like, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke. If I have to die, I would like to have a couple famous friends. And easier said than done. And at the same time, I was thinking, how can I go about that? So yeah, there were a couple of wrestlers that I liked, and I introduced myself, told them I had a disability, and what was the point of this. And I was so tired of being told off and go blank myself. I said, okay, maybe I can get my birthday list, but turn it into a job or something, or turn it into something a little more professional. And I just got tired of sitting with my family because one of my brothers was looking for a job, go take the state exam or whatever. And I said, what about me? And everyone stops and looks at me and says, what about you? You piss people off. I don't know if that's a talent of mine, but I piss people off. I rub people the wrong way, sometimes deliberately, and sometimes because of my mannerisms. I piss people off, I rub people the wrong way. I'm not educated. I read and learn at a 5th grade level. I was never capable of going to college. And I was always told I was going to be in a group home or whatever because I don't know it's going to be a burden for someone. So I said, screw it. I'm going to show you with a disability that I'm capable of still amounting to something. And unofficially, I did over 759 interviews or maybe it was 772. My biggest mistake was I wasn't doing permission forms. So if I met you like 4.5 years ago during that time, I would say, you want to do an interview? Yeah, sure. Did an interview, then you would come back and say, yeah, my agent said, my publicist said, you ask a lot of stupid questions. We don't like the video quality because when I did my talk show, you can see it, season 1, season 2, it's pretty much what you see on the reflection is what the camera picked up. So this was my camera, and I recorded directly from the computer screen. And now, over a couple years, I use Skype Recorder. So now it's cut in half. I'm on the right, and you're on the left. Or if you're interviewing me, I flip it. I'm on the left, you're on the right. But you see, from 2013, from doing 72 phone interviews to about now doing video, from being into a tiny little screen to about now it looks professional. Now it's in HD. In this June, pat myself on the back, this June will be officially 5 years. And yes, I made some mistakes along the way. Certain people would say to me, I'm not copyrighted, I'm not trademarked. So I went to a senior advisor, blah, blah, blah. I told the story before. But he's like, you don't have to be copyrighted and because you're online based. You do not have to be trademarked because that's $2,000. You're not making money. And as long as you're paying for the name, no one can take that from you. He said your biggest mistake was you were not doing a permission form. And so now I have 5 of these. You can say it's reversed. This is actually number 5 for season 5. And I have over 100 permission forms. That says I introduce myself, I tell you what the concept is, and by signing it, you're agreeing to have me have use of the interview as long as it's not discriminating against me and you. By signing it, you're giving me all rights to the interview. I can do whatever I want with it. That's my biggest regret, because I wasn't doing that 4.5 years ago. I only started that at 16 or 17, give or take. So basically, it was a learning expertise for me, because I taught myself how to do this since I was 15 from using iMovie. I made like little pictures and I had music to it, because my dad made high school videos for high school yearbook videos. So monkey see, monkey do. So I would make Batman versus Superman, and best of, because I'm a big wrestling fan, the best of WCW, and I put music to it. I'm like, okay, what else can I do? I also had my own high school show, and then I forgot about it, then I got sick, and then I just got tired of being self-pity. I wanted to show you that even without a fancy college degree, or a fancy bachelor's or master's, I was going to show you, hey, you want to label me handicapped retarded, that's fine, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to make you eat those words. And look, I did, thanks to you, in total, 700 unofficially, but officially I did 458. Some are great, some are bad, and that's mostly on my part, because I am hard on myself, and I try to hide my disability. But, I'm pretty much a work in progress. I'm not Derek Jeter. I'm not going to constantly hit home run after home run. And I'm like a fine wine. Some people are going to say, it's great. Or some people are going to say, oh, he really sucks. But, at the same time, with the fine wine, you're only going to get better over time, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Well, with that being said, I do have 2 questions for you. I want to ask you wrapping up, and a couple questions for you off the air. But the first one is, are you on social media, like LinkedIn? Well, obviously you're on LinkedIn, that's how we met. But are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook? How can your fans follow you? And let's just do that one first.
Okay, so yeah, I am on Facebook as much as I don't like to be. Just my name, Ariel Florian. YouTube as well. I started a YouTube series. It was quite short, but I'm hoping to continue it. It's called Screenality. It's like a pun on, being on screen and having a reality on screen. So we ask people questions of what they want to see, and we make that into a reality. So we combine the screen with reality. And Instagram, just Ariel Y Florian, just my name. You would be able to find me. You know, I love to write songs and sing covers. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Now, and if there's any links you want me to put in the description box, just send me my way. Yeah, for the most part, I will have your Instagram and your Facebook linked. And actually, I do need your Facebook linked, so I can add you. But wrapping up our interview segment, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, I want you to be completely honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after doing the interview, do you feel the same way or do you feel a different way?
When you first approached me, I didn't know who you were. However, I think I actually approached you, funny enough. I think I'm in so many different groups on Facebook for like acting and singing and all that. And I think I saw you had a live stream or a talk show and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I think I liked it or something. Or I was added to the group and then you approached me. You said, hey, do you want to do this segment where I enter? And I was like, yeah, totally. And it took a while because I was very busy and I do apologize. You were very patient. You know, I promised I would be on the set and I kept not keeping my word. And no, I think it was a fabulous time. I find all the questions to be great and relatable. And to be quite honest, you know, I don't see you as being disabled whatsoever.
I put a good mask on.
Well, yeah. I mean, disability is just another word. I don't. People are people, and you know, everyone has their disability to an extent.
No, absolutely, and it's going on, mostly going on the ladder, going and saying for the record, it's saying labels don't dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And it's approved of them and can break the labels. So hashtag break the labels.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to part 2 that we'll see you down the road. And I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2.
Oh, the same to me. It was an honor to be on your segment.